What's up, guys? Sub-Zerek here, back for another VOD review. Today, doing a VOD review of the Citadel Series Paris. This is the final game. If you guys didn't catch this, shout out to Citadel, which is the org that sponsors. It's what? Robin Songs, Kai Wang, Solus, and Dank Memes. That's their team, I believe. And then Marcel P is their coach. And this team put on this entire tournament, actually, really cool, where they took the top players from Ladder who were unsponsored to go to Paris and said, we're going to do this big tournament. It's going to be at the end of the final day. It's going to be checkmate. And whoever wins the tournament is going to get sponsored by Citadel to go to Paris. So they're going to get their flight and hotel paid for and stuff like that. So really cool. I love to see stuff like this. I feel like Citadel is one of the orgs who's actually doing a really good job in the TFT space, like putting a lot of effort in TFT, which is so cool to see. And this is the final game, which I wanted to do a VOD review. This is, I mean, the highest level competition on this patch that we're going to see, you know, for the rest of this patch, essentially, because we got new patch coming Wednesday. People are practicing for that on PvE, but I don't really want to give you guys a new patch VOD review on PvE because, like, I know you guys are all, you know, still playing on this patch. You want to complete your climb, and a lot of what's relevant, you know, in this game is understanding how to win out on this patch, because this is a final checkmate game. So we're looking at first augment here, patient study and time skip, both okay options. Time skip actually is one that I feel like, you know, I read this augment at the start of the set and thought I was going to hate it, and then I took it a few times and actually really ended up enjoying it. So, you know, I kind of do, I'm a little partial to a time skip here, and obviously not, you know, a Wraith Crest here. Ends up being the patient study there. Scouting around the lobby, we see a dummy here, which is Juggernaut and Edgelord here. We see caretakers for this player. We see Stegzor here, who has a Gambler's Blade and then slammed a Gnasher's Tooth here. This is a very interesting Slam setup here, because you could have actually made Gambler's Blade Gwinsu, but they opted to make Gambler's Blade Gnashers with the idea of going Gambler's Gnashers JG and then playing into Kog'Maw, because we already have that Kog'Maw. It's a kind of a cool idea. Spanish Malala here, who is this player who is a European player, and we need to actually talk about Protect Scroll's spot here, because Protect Scroll has a fantastic early start here. So you can see early Mundo 2, from just not from like augment or anything, but off of minions, just managed to find Mundo 2, Nar 2, Sivir 2, so disgusting opener. Then was Cloak Belt opener, and then ended up replicationing into a sword, and was which, you know, allowed him to make a Stair Axe here. Has this bow open that can end up becoming a GS if we want to. Can even make you know, BT potentially as well here onto the Dr. Mundo here, and also Tournament Titans here for Travis, which is not one that I'm that excited about, but you know, that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you have to take. The funny thing is that Travis is the only player in this lobby who is not checked. This was game 6, I believe. And so the only player not in check here, or maybe this is actually game 7 now that I think about it. Yeah, I think this is game 7. But yeah, the only player not in check there is Travis, and Travis, after taking that augment, basically has no shot of winning out. We saw Protect Scroll did slam the BT as well, by the way, here. Go over to Spanish Malala. Spanish Malala, by the way, is this player. I need to, give me one sec. All right, we're back. Sorry, I had to look up the name because this person's name is not their name. It's Spanish Malala. This is a player by the name of Zuso. I will say, I really did want to actually VOD review Zuso for this tournament, but they streamed but ended up deleting their VODs. So this is why we're watching, you know, Robin Song's entire lobby POV. Because Zuso had the most points scored across the entire day, ended up scoring like, I think over 40 points on the day, or if not over, close to it. Just a very solid performance across the entire day. And so, you know, I would love to VOD review this player, and, you know, we'll look at, you know, who ends up winning. You know, no spoilers or anything like that. But I do think this player, you know, performed fantastically across the course of the entire tournament. So, and you can see, I mean, a great win streak here with the augment here to get the 2-star Kobuko here. It's kind of interesting because we have 2-star Kobuko, we have a tier, we have a JG, we have a great line into, you know, potentially Janna. And then we also, this is back to Protect Scroll spot, has that BT slam, just everything upgraded. So these are the two people who are 100 streaking in this spot, and they actually rotate into each other. The problem here for Spanish Malala, he could make a Void Staff, but I mean, the power of just Mundo 2 with these items, I mean, he's just too strong. There's no way that we're gonna actually win this fight. So I really like that, you know, Spanish Malala Zuso here did not overslam in a spot like this. Didn't opt to make Void Staff because it's really going to mess up potential items down the line if we want to play for like a Janna or something like that. So it's a very nice not to overslam there from that player. Project Stroll here though does get the 5 streak with this really strong board. Get some kind of interesting items here. You could opt to make a Sunfire, but these days, and in the spot that Protect Scroll's in, I really do like a Warmog Slam a lot more here, with the idea being, and we've talked about this before, we're decent odds of being able to go fast 9 in this spot because we're going to win streak for so long with this board. And if you're going fast 9, you're going to play for a Twisted Fate on your board, and you're just going to give him the Noxious Trap, and so you don't need to build anything. You don't need to build Heal Cut, you don't need to build Armor Shred, you don't need to build MR Shred, because you can get all of that from the Noxious Trap, which I'm pretty sure for people who want to, look towards next patch, I'm pretty sure is not getting nerfed next patch, which is crazy. All right, second augments here. Actually, I would pause this, but there's so many people to go through. I mean, last second save, I think, is a great option for potentially the Kog'Maw player, but that player actually started rolling, which was interesting. Robin Songs loves to do this thing where he just flies around between all the POVs and makes it impossible to watch anything, by the way. So interesting here. We see the from Spanish Malala, Zuso actually takes Ascension in this spot, which I think is actually a really cool idea. This player, Jungle Book here, didn't have much of a spot, but ended up taking Magic Roll and got the Nico 2 and the Malzahar 2. So all of a sudden has really good direction into playing Malzahar reroll, which, it's a line we've talked about a lot this patch, this Malzahar Crystal Gambit reroll idea. You can play around the Nico for a while, eventually probably get out of that, but it'll be great for now. And what's kind of awkward as well is there's all these other players who are thinking about playing other kinds of Crystal Gambit reroll. There's people who have, there's the person who had Swain with the Innervating Locket. This person, and yeah, this is Spanish Malala. This is one of the things from Zuso that is so interesting, so cool, that I feel like I don't know, that a lot of players, I think, would not do, and Spanish Malala, Zuso, sorry, I feel like I have to read the name on screen. Like, what is this setup? I feel like so many of the games that I watched from this player, he was just so open to slamming like kind of interesting items and then making the game plan work from there. Like, it's one thing to just kind of like slam whatever, but it's another thing entirely to like slam whatever and then make that work into a line. And the line that we're going to go into here, by the way, spoiler alert, is we're going to play heavyweight Malzahar with, Mal's getting these items and the Hodge transferring over to Darius, and the sword is open for IE later. I mean, I think that's just such a cool idea. With Ascension, obviously, Malzahar, one of these units where eventually, late game in the fight, he's spread his poison a million times and he becomes an absolute monster. It's a very, very cool idea, actually. And yeah, this Stegzor set up here looking to play Kog'Maw here with the Gambler's Blade. Remember, all of these players are trying to play for a win. So, no one can just say, I'm going to take a solid top 4 in this spot, especially because this is a tournament where the winner gets the, to sign with Citadel, and then literally second place gets nothing. There is no like, why am I thinking of the word compromise? But there's no consolation prize for being second. You just have to be the strongest, player on the day, the person who wins out. This is also crazy from Cambly, by the way, and I think is even just worth talking about. It's fun, these VODs where you get to see everyone because there's so much to talk about. Cam goes level 7 here to roll down. The idea is we're going to play like an Ahri Crystal Gambit setup. Sees this stuff, but sees this shop. He's a double Jinx shop with a Jinx already, so he can opt to make Jinx 2 here. These are his items. He's the Shojin plus the GS here, and then a bunch of weird AP items. And so Cambly makes the hard, but I think reasonable decision to skip this Jinx in this spot here. And his idea is, the way that I need to, progress in this game, the way I need to win out in this game is I need to roll down here, hit this exact board here with 5 crystal, and he gets 5 crystal in at the last second. But this is the only board that's going to be strong enough for me to actually get these, big cash outs from Crystal Gambit and, potentially win the lobby. And so I need to actually sack the, I need to skip. I need to skip on the Jinx there, which is a crazy idea. But I think, it makes perfect sense. The Jinx doesn't actually fit well onto the Crystal Gambit board. There's no like Crystal Gambit Sniper or something that you can play. So you don't really have room to fit it. So then, you're kind of forced then to play the just the Ahri and the Rel, of course, being your 2+1s on the Crystal Gambit board on level 7. And so it's I don't know, it's such a crazy idea, but I think it actually makes perfect sense from Cambly. So shout out to him for making a very tough decision, but one that I think makes sense. And I think a lot of people would have gotten really, really baited on that Jinx, like, oh, I got to play on this Jinx, and it actually would have kind of like griefed their game. You can see Cam here just destroying people with this board. By the way, the Mage on the Ahri, really, really nice, just to, give her extra DPS essentially. And the Swain tier here with this lock doing well. The problem is he cashed out his Crystal Gambit, and his first Crystal Gambit is a duelist spat. That is the worst possible cash out when you were playing 5 Crystal Gambit. Of course, you're really looking for the double dupes. Strategist spat, really, really nice as well. Obviously, artifacts amazing, but duelist spat, the worst by far. That comp just, cannot use that whatsoever. Horo X here has kind of a cool setup where he is almost forced into playing Mighty Mech here with the Juggernaut plus the Edgelord. Works really, really well for Mighty Mech and not well for much else. And he's doing this setup here where he was win streak and now he's lost streak Crystal Gambit here. So yeah, it's also funny because he had kind of a I didn't actually get to watch it, but he had apparently kind of a blunder with this Mighty Mech comp earlier, and he also actually makes a pretty big blunder here where he over slams onto Karma and wins the fight and cashed it as Crystal. So yeah, Horo X he made it to final lobby, so shout out to him, but kind of a rough spot now where he just lost his Crystal Gambit double down because he slammed power up onto the Karma. It was pretty yeah, kind of a bit of an overslam here, but he's going to roll down. The upside is he hits a lot of good stuff here. Finds Zyra here, finds the Swain here. He really needs Karma 2 and finds Karma 2 on the last roll here, so manages to get that in. So at least our board stabilizes here, but, obviously we would have preferred to have a much bigger Crystal Gambit cash out and possible win out. But yeah, you can see the Zuso board here with this Radiant Titans onto the Darius here. The glove, or it was actually the sword, ends up becoming GS. It doesn't actually become IE onto Darius. And so we actually have a pretty strong board with this Ascension here. A lot of good stuff, just not that many copies of Malz, and the big issue is there is another Malzahar reroller in this lobby. But back over to Protect Scroll, by the way. Okay, Robin Songs, can you stop jumping around? Protect Scroll. So he win streaked the entire game. He got Crystal Gambit in here actually at 4-1. This is the greediest Crystal Gambit of all time. It's not even the end of stage 3 into 5 lost stage 4 and cash out 5-1. No, he gets it in at 4-1, and he's going to try to play 6 rounds and then cash out on 5-2 into that fast 9. And why shouldn't he, right? He has the HP to do it. He is he's 91 HP. He even won 4-1. He lost 4-2, but if he loses even the next, 3 fights, he's going to be totally, 4 fights, I guess, into 5-2. He'll be totally fine here. Also took Call of Chaos and got triple Hull Crusher here, which is not bad if you're thinking about Juggernaut Fast 9 here. You can throw these onto set. He uses the stats from Juggernaut, or from Hull Crusher really well. So yeah, you can feel good about that. Checking in on, actually we're going to check back in on Horo X here, who, he has a very strong board. That's the upside to his spot. The downside is he is stuck 0 gold, and he's just praying for a 7 mech. He's praying to pick up that Yone. If he doesn't pick up that, his game is just over. If he does pick up that, he might have a shot here. Going to Carousel, speaking of Yone, no Yones. Looking back at the other players who are kind of at the bottom here, Travis, remember, with that Luchador augment, just not having a very good run of it. And then Camuli here, remember, made that, kind of, crazy in some ways play to stabilize around the Ahri, but I think made a lot of sense. But he is also just, getting that duelist spat cash it is not very good. Oh yeah, and Robin checks the Tournament Titans here. You gain 5% AS whenever you win a player combat. Luchador's granted size primarily in 2% AS and 30 HP. And so he, from this augment, has 6% AD and 90 HP. This is his augment. 5 AS, 6 AD, 90 HP on his Luchadors. That is actually a silver, almost a silver augment, almost worse than some silver augments, honestly. And he had to take it on a gold augment, and it gave him nothing at the start. He had to win some, yeah, I think somebody said on the stream that augment is getting nerfed next patch, by the way, which, what? I don't know. I haven't looked at next patch, but I don't know how that's possible. It must be performing very well in the data, but I don't see how that's possible. So Travis and Cam end up dying out here. Yeah, Cam really just wasn't able to get the cash outs that he needed to stabilize. And yeah, this is the awkward thing for Zuso here, is that Jungle Book actually already has a Malzahar 3-star, wanted to play into that line. Remember when he got that cash out from the pile of champions from Magic Reroll, or Magic Roll, found the Malz 2. And so that kind of said, you know what, you should really play Malzahar. And the other thing that's interesting actually is that he cashed out, he was also a Call to Chaos player, I believe. We'll see when we go back to him. But he also called to cast into rerolls. But you can see your Protect Scroll, lose streaking with this setup, still has one more fight to lose here, which is really, really nice. Finds the set here, has a dupe as well that he just got off of, I think, just like minions, right? Which is really, really nice to just allow him to hit his board here. And he's pretty healthy. I mean, 58 HP, you don't feel bad about at all. He actually won on 4-3, which saved him some HP as well, which is nice. Hits the set 2 here. The only thing you have to be afraid of here is winning this fight, but he makes a really smart call here. You can see actually on his board, man, this Robin, the way this guy scouts is like kind of crazy. He's not going to give the Hull Crusher value to his set. He's going to keep guys next to his set because he wants to make sure that he's going to lose this fight. He says, I cannot possibly win this fight. Also, really smart to hold on to the extra Dr. Schmundo on the bench here so we can just sell the Mundo and move items over really easily. He's already moved items over to the set. He's like basically pre-pivoted this board to make the game as easy as possible for him. Kog'Maw player there doing okay here. Horo X still 6 Mighty Mech, which is just so tragic here, and is going to rotate into Jungle Book here. And yeah, Jungle Book called to cast into, it was rerolls, I'm pretty sure, which the downside to this is that means that Jungle Book is going to be way lower cap than a lot of players. Protect Scroll here, gonna get his cash out here, has his items on his bench here. I'm down actually, I mean, we can bring this down to 1x speed for the pivot, but what's crazy is there's not that much left to pivot here. He gets his cash out here, which is actually, it's kind of an interesting cash here. He gets the 4 costs and dupe cash out, which is just, I mean, it's a lot of gold. I mean, it's double dupes, and you already have set 2, so if you see some sets, you could think about set 3, but he sees his TF here, he sees the Lee Sin, he sees the Braum as well, gets Juggernaut Lee Sin, starts full pivoting the board, another Braum, another Lee Sin, which is huge here, gets 7 Juggernaut in for a second there, gets another Braum in, needs to get Zyra in, yep, he gets Zyra in here, and is continuing to roll, finds Braum 2 here, gonna continue rolling, finds another Zyra. I mean, these are, I will say, these are very good rolls, and continues to roll it down here, doesn't actually even use the dupes here, because he's saying, you know what, I'm actually strong this here, I don't have to worry about it, and also now has to figure out, you know, where all of his items are going to go here, and what his power-ups are going to be here. So we can pause a second, look at items here. What's kind of interesting is we do have this kind of like triple damage item set up, the BT, Titans, and Sterax. Like those kind of have to end up going onto Lee Sin here. You can throw stuff onto Braum, but Braum kind of really wants to use the Protector's Vow, so you're gonna end up going kind of like Protector's Vow Warmogs on him is what makes the most sense to me. And then you're left with GS onto TF, which is kind of funny. You have LW open, but I almost wonder if you don't slam LW here and then you look at not like you look at just reforging one of these components, probably Glove, and then hoping for another TF item. But yeah, we end up taking Soul Chipper for a second onto TF, just, you know, kind of whatever. You really do want the Noxious Trap here. Going to power up Lee Sin here. It ends up taking Gather Force, which I think makes a lot of sense with this setup. This Lee Sin is going to be so tanky with the BT, Sterax, and the Titans. Like, he's going to be an absolute monster here. And so you can feel really good about just, you know, playing for longer fights with that. We do see Jungle Book get a nice cash out there. We see the 3-star Darius here for Zuso here. The problem is no 3-star Mal still. And then at this point finds the Zyra and just goes for the double dupe here and says, okay, you know what? I'm not going to play for some kind of 3-star 4 cost because my board's honestly strong enough here. Horo X ends up actually hitting 7 mech here, which I think is pretty sick here. The mech, very big. Also eating, I believe, the Aatrox here, right? Though this... I really hate that Robin does this, by the way, because he literally, Horo X lost that fight, but he was just like jumping around the lobby. I don't even know why, so we couldn't see what happened at the end of that fight there. But Horo X ends up actually losing that fight just to the triple Nashor's Akali, which actually ends up being a board that does surprisingly well in this lobby. So keep an eye on that. So yeah, we kind of have the two sides of it here. Jungle Book with the Mals 3, the Zuso board with just the Darius but no Mals. And yeah, I mean, this board okay enough here. But yeah, look at this triple Akali board. It's like it actually performs pretty well here. But yeah, the mech is eating the Aatrox, eating the Onyx Spark as well, which I think I heard that that's actually getting removed next patch. But for now, you can have your mech eat your Onyx Spark, and it does work in a weird kind of a way. It works on the units that the Spark hits at the start of combat, is what I have been told. I have not TFT science tested it myself here, but yeah, I mean, yeah, this is such a, let's I mean, go back and like really look at this board, because this is a very cool board out of Riveting here. It's this Bronze for Life board. If you guys haven't seen this board, this is the exact board you always play on level 8. And yeah, I mean, it's a very nice board, kind of traits wise. You know, you get so many good traits in on this board so easily. And yeah, I mean, you can just play very nicely around the Akali plus the it's actually funny. Normally, I was about to say, this is the board you see on 8, but normally you actually see Zac here. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe, I wonder if he missed on Zac, because normally you play Zac over this, then your 2 Supreme Cell and your 2 Wraith here, unless he actually thinks this is stronger. I don't think it is. I think he just probably missed on sack is what I have to imagine. I mean, you can sack some bronze for life value to get better value, but I mean, sacking 2 bronze for life stacks onto your entire board seems wrong here. But anyway, Protect Scroll here ends up positioning really well for the Akali, puts his TF away so he doesn't end up getting Akali ulted. And also, this fight's honestly kind of impossible to lose just because the Lee Sin is always going to clear the Akali, especially with Gathering Force. I was really impressed by how well Gathering Force Lee Sin did in this lobby, just by being a tanky monster. The other thing to point out is Riveting does have 6 Akalis there. The only problem is he's pretty broke. There's another Akali being held over there by, I think it was Spanish Malala. So it's going to be very, very tough for Riveting to hit, but you know, you can keep the possibility open. Jungle Book gonna roll down here, really just for the idea of maybe I can hit a 3-star 4 cost here, like 3-star Jarvan. Does end up kind of skipping the Jarvan, so it really looks like he's just rolling for, you know, anything that he can hit here, but you know, Zyra 2 or something, but there's really not all that much here. He tries to swap. He does actually kind of swap on the Akali, though his Zyra gets blown up here, so that's not really the positioning that he would have loved here. We see Protect Scroll, by the way, clearing Spanish Malala, and if it's not obvious to anyone else, the player who is in very much good spot to win the lobby is Protect Scroll. That Crystal Gambit cash out into just playing a very, very strong 6 Juggernaut board. As we've talked about before, this fast 9/6 Jug board is so strong, and then the power of Crystal Gambit with it is just monstrous here. Means that it's just, I mean, this is the best way to win games. This set is to win streak on, you know, this patch, I guess specifically, win streak really hard, then get Crystal Gambit in, you know, start of stage 4 or end of stage 3, get a big cash out, and then play that into some kind of fast 9 like Juggernaut, and you will win a lot of games. Protect Scroll and Riveting, the last 2 players alive here. And Riveting actually sells board here to try to look for an Akali 3 because that is the only chance he has at winning. Goes for it and just finds absolutely nothing. Finds 1 Akali in the last shot, but it's not enough here. So it is the dub for Protect Scroll. So congrats to Protect Scroll. I will say, Protect Scroll, if you're watching this video, why didn't you stream on Twitch? You should have. I mean, I get it. Some players, you know, are not used to streaming, so they don't want to do that. But I mean, hey, you're a signed player now. Maybe turn on the Twitch stream, and I'll do another VOD review of you when you actually stream some games. So congrats to Protect Scroll and everybody else who played fantastic. I do want to once again shout out Zuso, who performed really, really well on the day here. I have too many tabs open, but let me pull this one up. Yeah, 45 points on the day. So Spanish Malala and Zuso, I think he did stream for this tournament, but I don't think he usually streams because once again he turned his VODs off. But it's X here. This is his XUS 0 is his Twitter here if you guys are interested in following him or checking him out, because he played really, really well. So hope you guys enjoyed it as always. If you did, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch, Spotify, links down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks always for watching. Bye bye.